A chance to play in the regional final for both number 11 seed Clemson and Northwestern here at McWhorter Stadium. I mean, you had to line up hours before to get a spot on that berm. And our bracket so far, Northwestern has already shut out Kentucky thanks to Lauren Boyd's complete game. We'll see her again in the circle against Clemson, the Northwestern ace, and the Tigers able to run Southwind today.
Oh, you set yourself up to be in a regional final and have to be beaten twice if you take care of business in this game. If not, it's going to be a rough road for who doesn't come out on top.
Well, for Clemson, a team that has been led by underclassmen all year long, it was a freshman, Marion Collins, yesterday.
She was fantastic. Through a complete game shutout, but her going back
to be eliminated, a double elimination format. We've got our 1-0 game today. The loser heads to the second elimination game, hosting for the third time in the last 4 years.
That's just incredible, isn't it, Alex? I mean, coming in, starting a program and having that immediate success, making it to the postseason every year, and then hosting 3 of those years. There's plenty of teams that have been around for decades that can't put that on their resume, and they did it in the first 5 years.
Much of that credit, for sure, to the head coach, John Rittman. Before coming to Clemson, was at Stanford 18 seasons, where he really helped build that program that, once again, is in a regional this year. And they hosted last year with Naja Kennedy. But I mean, it really is tough to say, you know, anything but absolute laudatory things. I mean, he has built this program in such a small amount of time into a national power. I mean, you're a top 16 team in the country. You are a team that has a very good chance not only to make it to Supers, but maybe even get to the Women's College World Series. Got in front of the 2-2 and ripped down the line. And of course, the fan support has a lot to do with it as well.
The fan support, this whole community, and the administration. And when you start a program, Clemson has showed you, if you want to start a program, you have to do it right. And they did everything right by hiring the right coach, putting the financials behind building this beautiful facility, making it a place that people want to come watch. Great softball, great athletes compete, and then John Rittman being able to sell his vision from day one to get the recruits he needed to lay the foundation here.
2-2 missed, and the count runs full. They'll appeal down to third base umpire Jose Chaparro and say that Brown did not go around. Great umpiring crew. Marty Abizetian's behind the plate. Bradley Newton at first base. John Buck, the crew chief. Second base umpire Jose Chaparro, we mentioned, is at third.
It's a great battle by Alex Brown to get this game started. They're going to have a tough time with Lauren Boyd. Anybody would. She's a phenomenal pitcher, but to come out with your leadoff, seeing a lot of pitches, going to a full count, fouling some pitches off. We haven't seen the changeup quite yet. That's something Lauren Boyd likes to wait maybe second time through the lineup, but with this battle for Alex Brown, I wouldn't be surprised if we see it.
Off the fist out to center field. This is comfortable at the end for Lindsay. And Brown is retired to start the game. Now Northwestern is lining up today. You got to watch out for Kania in left field. She had a bullet to third base, cutting down a potential runner, which really kind of changed things yesterday. Lindsay Nader complement her in the outfield. Donahue and Robinson are on the corners. Double play combination of Avasado and Nito. Emma Ray is behind the plate, receiving that first pitch inside to Maddie Moore from Lauren Boyd, making up the battery. Moore has done just about everything in her Clemson career. Player that has improved every single season as well. She was an All-American last year. Arguably the best second baseman in the country. Terrific defensively. She makes the plays you wouldn't even expect her to be able to make. And she's driven in 65 runs from the number 2 hole. Tough to do.
Yeah, imagine at the 3-4 hole how many more RBIs she would have. But you can't take her out of that spot. She is so clutch. And then behind her, they can't pitch around her. You've got Julia Noller and Macy Cintron and Vieira, so she's protected well. And she has such a feel for the game, too. And when the team needs a spark, they need something to happen, you can always count on Maddie Moore.
A swing and a miss, 2-2. Pulled the string there. It's 58 miles an hour.
And you can see this defensive alignment. We saw it some yesterday. Northwestern really looks at matchups and analytics and where to position their players. You see Nito on the left side of second base. That's normally the second baseman, but playing on the left side towards shortstop. Looking for Maddie Moore to pull the ball. And especially with a screwball pitcher in the circle, if you're going to go in on the hands, it's very difficult to try and inside out that to the second base position. So Coach Drohan told us, she tells her players, just trust the card, and we saw that work out pretty well for them yesterday.
Making the Northwestern dugout jump down there. And once again, I mean, we seem to see this a lot, but Tony Smith is kind of in firing range down in that third base dugout. He's responsible for all these shifts, by the way. Assistant coach, husband of Michelle Gascoigne, the pitching coach. Bouncer over to first, handled, and there is Robinson to touch up to get Maddie Moore. 2 away here in the first. It's a terrific coaching staff. The thing about this regional that stands out is just how many wins we have seen. Coming into it, 3,643 career wins from these 4 head coaches.
I mean, just the amount of veteran coaches, seasoned coaches, successful coaches put together and all in one region. We're going to see, we'll really see that game within the game because they're all so smart, know what it takes to win at this level, and they see the game a lot differently than most people do.
Yeah, Rachel Lawson for Kentucky has the least career wins. She's got 715. 0-1 fly ball, center field. It's comfortable for Lindsay. She facing her. It's not an easy task with the ACC Pitcher of the Year in the circle for John Rittman.
So Reese Basinger coming over from Winthrop for her senior season has had a lot of fun in the circle, being the ace go-to starter for the Tigers. ACC Pitcher of the Year, most wins in conference, and she is really performing well. Had a short outing yesterday, but back in the circle to get the start, and we're going to see a good mix from her. She's going to be about mid-60s, but what is so great about her is her ability to locate her pitches. And if she misses, the great thing is she's going to miss in the right direction. So she has great command over her ball, knows where it's going to go, and for Kyle Jamison, the pitching coach, that's what you want when you're calling pitches.
She definitely should be fresh here coming into this matchup with Northwestern, with a spot in the regional final on the line. Basinger only had to throw 51 pitches yesterday. 2 1/3, gave up 2 runs on 6 hits before Brooke McCubbin shut the door with 2 2/3. And that's also what really helps Clemson, is that they were able to finish off the run rule. They scored so quickly at the end. When you talk about regionals, the least pitches you can throw, the better.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, all year long, you're trying to manage innings, keep people healthy for the postseason. But for John Rittman and Kyle Jamison, it's really been Reese Basinger and Brooke McCubbin eating most of those innings. So to come in fresh today is always a good thing.
Brownfields and fires, and Northwestern starts it off with a ground ball to third. Well, we've already seen the third baseman, so let's start with the infield. Brown and Noller are on the corners. Collins and Moore, great double play combination up the middle. Johnson, Brock, and Bro Pipkins from left to right in the outfield, and Abby Vieira behind the plate once again to catch Reese Basinger. Kaylee Avasado has had a tremendous freshman year, but she goes for the first pitch. And that shallow fly ball handled by Brockenbrough, the Tennessee transfer for out number 2. Wildcats, one of the last teams into the field. The highest RPI this year of any at-large team at 49, but they went to UCLA, top 10 team on the road last regular season series, and they won that 3-game set at the Bruins. Really took it to them, run-ruled them in game 1, 8-0, lost 15-8 game 2, then came back behind Lauren Boyd for a 5-3 win in the finale, and it dropped their RPI from 57 to 44, which really gave them a chance to make the tournament. And even despite an opening loss in the Big Ten tournament first round to Purdue, they were still able to get in just mainly because of those wins and the rest of their resume.
Yeah, and there was no secret to the team that they needed to take that series to give themselves a chance to make the postseason, and they went into that series and treated it like a super regional. And the mindset that they had, knowing they needed 2 of 3, they asked them how was it different, and they said, we actually played to win. A lot different than the way we were feeling all year long. We took control. We were on the offensive all game long, and they're looking to take that we're playing to win mindset here to regionals.
It was a tense evening on Selection Sunday, but one that ended up pretty exciting for Northwestern. And, you know, a lot of the players were just pumped up because they just felt like the season wasn't over yet. I mean, they still had a lot more to go. Izzy Kania told us it didn't seem finished. 3-2 hits Kelsey Nader, and she'll be on here with 2 outs.
There's some close calls in that at bat. We saw John Rittman a couple pitches ago asking where pitches were, but ultimately this one runs in on the hands, gets her right under the wrist. That doesn't feel good, but it looks like Kelsey Nader is tougher than most.
Right on the forearm. Here's Kansas Robinson, arguably the most dangerous hitter in this Wildcats 9. It was 1 for 3 with a 2-run double. And yesterday against Kentucky, that really broke it open, started the scoring for them. What I feel like it did the most was just take some of the pressure off of the shoulders of Northwestern, because they hadn't gotten to the Kentucky pitching yet. And Carson Fall was looking really good through 4 innings, but then in the 5th, they finally get that hit that they really needed. And from there on out, scored 2 more in the 6th. And with Lauren Boyd in the circle, that might as well have been 10.
Right, she doesn't need a ton of run support with the way she throws that ball. But you're right, the pressure of coming in to a postseason, even if this is a seasoned veteran Northwestern team that's been here before, those first couple innings, the nerves are there, you're playing a little bit tighter, but as soon as that first run came across, things loosened up and relaxed for Northwestern.
The 1-2 skirts by Vieira, and I believe that Nader was going on the pitch anyway. It was pretty close. And she is into scoring position here with 2 outs in the 1st.
Yeah, I think you're right. Right off on the pitch. Made it a little bit easier for her. No throw. Ball gets by Vieira.
Basinger for sure thought that was strike 3. Took a couple of steps. John Rittman is now going to call time from Marty Abizishan, the home plate umpire. And this is twofold, the purpose of this one, right? I mean, this is to give Marty Abizishan a piece of his mind just as much as it is to settle things down with Basinger.
I think it's mainly to tell Marty in a respectful way.
It's like 70-30 right there?
Yeah, a respectful way, not so egregious as walking up to him. I mean, that's a seasoned coach. You know how to get your point across. And, it's the first inning. We're still establishing strike zones from the umpire. What are we going to get? What are we not? Each umpire is going to have their own kind of zone, but...
Got her on the 3-2 anyway, and Basinger doesn't even have to worry about that postseason.
In the postseason, I mean, it's fabulous. I mean, during regular season, yeah, we get a pretty good crowd. I mean, everyone's out here showing their support and their love for us. But the postseason, of course, it's different for every team. I mean, just look around.
Yeah.
We're in the middle of a beautiful, beautiful part of South Carolina. We have all these fans out here that want nothing but the best for us, and it's just an amazing community. And, you know, Coach Rittman, our leader, is just taking us all the way as far as we can get. But, I mean, this is just an amazing experience to be not inside the line this year.
I am interested to see how does it feel to be watching from this side, the team, the program that you really were the foundation of, and seeing them here in the postseason now. What's that feel like?
I mean, I had a couple of parents come up to me like, oh, like how do you alumni feel about them finally winning ACCs? I was like, our job as the first 5 teams that were here with the program was to set the foundation, to set the standard, to set the level of intensity that we wanted them to carry out for the next, I hope, 50, 100 years from now. Right. Just absolutely go out, have fun with your friends, love the game, respect the game, and just put on a show for the fan base, and for them to go out and win the championship. I mean, I was driving from, I was at the Big Ten tournament. Okay. I was driving back from OKC, and I was like, oh my gosh. I literally had to stop and pull over for gas, and I was calling my parents. I was like, guys, they did it. They beat them. We finally won. We took it all the way. I mean, it's just, what an incredible thing to be a part of, and just to say we helped set the standard and the foundation. I mean, just an incredible experience to come out and relive it all.
And the way they won that game. Were you watching while you were driving? I had
the radio on.
Okay, there we go.
Yes, I had the radio on. But my Wi-Fi cut out, and I couldn't listen to the radio anymore. I got in a really bad part of OKC, and I was like, oh my gosh, I wonder what the score is. And it finally kicked back down. It was like, Kylie Johnson's 2 runs. I was like, what is happening right now?
Abby Vieira with a ground ball over to second, and she'll be thrown out 4-3 by Nito. Well, with Vieira coming up to the plate, I got to ask you, because she kind of took over the eye-black duties from you. How has she done?
I mean, she's done fantastic. I told her, and she'll be like, yeah, I took it over. No, I had to plead with her and Maddie Moore. I was like, I think it was senior day. I was like, guys, someone has to take it over. And they're like, and Abby Vieira, I just gave her the puppy dog, guys, and she was also my roommate for three years, and I was like, Abby Vieira, you have to. I was like, you literally have to. And she was like, okay, fine. But everyone's eye black is just stellar. I love the glitter. I was never a glitter girly, but they pull it off. They look amazing. Very glad they kept up that tradition. Got to keep the war paint going.
1-0 on Marion Collins. Hot shot over to Avesado, and her counterpart handles and fires over. That was too quick, Mackenzie. Will you stay around for the bottom of the third?
I will love to stay around for the bottom.
All right, much more from. Does that give you that you've experienced?
I mean, they've been playing on this field since the fall. I mean, they're very comfortable here. This is a well-known area. All they have to do is breathe, relax, and just let the game play out. You know, trust your stuff. Don't put too much effort or too much focus on just one moment. We still got 7 innings to work with. It's 21 outs. Everyone take a deep breath. And, of course, you have these beautiful fans here that want nothing for the best for their Tigers. So just take a step back, take a moment, breathe, and just let the game play out. It's a beautiful day. Not a worry in the world.
No, not at all. Reese Basinger looking good so far. Just the hit by pitch to Kelsey Nader, but then she got Kansas Robinson swinging. And Izzy Kania pops it up. Foul ground, it will land in the seats. Now, I want to ask you, Mackenzie, because you are about to embark on the first experience of the AUSL. Not only you, but also we saw 12 golden tickets being given out across the collegiate ranks, which was so cool. And so now you're on the Volts next year. You're the #1 overall pick in Oklahoma's Sam Landry, Michaela Edenfield, as well as Danica Coffey coming over from LSU. So that's tagged foul. What are you most excited about now with this new league coming into play?
I mean, when I first went into AUX last year, I was a little thrown when there was no coaches and there wasn't someone that was like, all right, this is our head person. Like, yes, there's captains, of course, but you went from 20-hour weeks with your coach, and if you wanted extra work, you had to go through these steps, whatever, to be with your coach. And at the end of the day, what coach said was final. And like, you always look to that person as your leader, and to not have a coach, the same coach with you, yeah. I was like, oh, that threw me a little, but now we have a
I think
coach,
you did
we have a
fine,
GM.
though. You picked up some MVP awards, were
Yep.
blasting home runs as soon as you stepped on the field. You did great.
I had to represent Coach Rittman, absolutely. But now that we have going into AUSL with a coach, a GM, and we have a set team and everything's set in stone for this year, I'm just buzzing. I'm so excited.
And some pretty impressive coaches and GMs, Olympic winners with Kat Osterman and Kelly Kretschmann in that program. What's it like to communicate with them and learn from them?
I mean, I'm just going into the season, and my goal is to be a sponge.
Yeah.
Like, of course, I want to compete. I want to do well. I want to have great at-bats. I want to be a competitive out. But at the end of the day, I'm going in there as, for my second year, I'm going to be a sponge, and that's all I'm going to try and do. I mean, I have legends like Jesse Warren at third base. You have all these legends like Amanda Lorenz in the outfield with me. And, of course, you have my coach and my GM, just the absolute goats of what they do and how they went about their careers. I mean, I'm going to try and put the fangirl away and just be a sponge, but at the same time, like, you got to step back and be like, wow, like 10-year-old Mackenzie, 15-year-old Mackenzie was like, there's a pro league, and I get to play with these people.
Yeah, it's special.
It's just very special.
And you deserve
very
it.
excited.
Yeah, that is really exciting. You see all the coaches and the general managers for the AUSL. I mean, Kat Osterman and Kelly Kretschmann. Look, I mean, look at the names all up and down the board. Stacey Newman, our very own Jenny Dalton-Hill, legend at Arizona.
Absolutely.
Alex Perlman, Brittany McKinney, joined by Clemson center fielder emeritus, unfortunately, Mackenzie Clark. But I know that you're here in spirit. If you just joined us, made a 17-hour drive from Lubbock, Texas.
Oh, yes, absolutely. I had to show up for my Tigers, 100%.
Now, I'm sure you've been
And like how we did X, Y, and Z, and we brought this team up. Yes, we're the foundation team, but they're going to be the legacy team. And we're just very proud and very excited for what they have done. And yes, we have a regular season ACC champ under our belts, and they have
Overall seed is into the regional final. They took down Ohio State 4-2. A little bit easier for Florida in Gainesville. They just finished off a run roll over FAU. 14-6 was the final there. Best day of the year. In a lot of ways, every regional playing 3 games today. So you do the math, 48 games.
That's good math, Alex.
I think that might just be a hangover from having done it so many years that I already knew, because I was kind of doing it in my head. I was like, no, I think that's right.
Yeah, there you go. But it's such a bittersweet day, too. It's the most exciting day in regionals. 2 elimination games. Games to go to the finals, careers in, seasons in, but one team gets that much closer to punching their ticket, taking the next step towards OKC, which is the ultimate goal of all 64 teams that are here.
In the bracket, the Clemson Regional matched up with the one in Austin that Texas is hosting, and right now they are leading Michigan 5-3 in the top of the 4th. Remember, every game available on ESPN+. Taylor Pipkins will take inside. She had a nice start to her NCAA tournament career. The freshman with a double, an RBI, a run scored, was 1 for 3 in her first experience. Lauren Boyd has just picked up exactly where she left off. Yeah. 6 up and 6 down so far.
I think both pitchers are trying to work the corners, not getting the call, and you saw the changeup right there. We saw a lot from Basinger last inning. Both veteran pitchers able to make adjustments.
Got her on the full count off speed, and there's the second strikeout of the game for Boyd.
Tell you what, if you want to compete at a high level like we are here as a pitcher, you have to have a changeup that you can command, and Lauren Boyd, one of the best to do it. And hitter, you know her bread and butter is that screw on her hands, but also have to have that in the back of your mind. Difficult task for hitters.
One away for Kylie Johnson, and the sophomore swings away. 1 for 2 yesterday, a 3-run home run in the 4th that broke the 2-2 deadlock against USC Upstate and ignited this Clemson Tiger offense. Also hit was the game-winning home run in the ACC Tournament Championship game in the top of the 7th against Florida State. Won it 2-1, the first time that the Tigers had taken home that tournament championship. They won a regular season title. And Mackenzie Clark had the ring on to prove it.
It was pretty. It was a nice one, too.
0-2 is in the dirt. Johnson goes for it, swings and misses. You know, break it down for me, because what it looks like is that Lauren Boyd's delivery on the changeup is exactly the same as her screw.
It is, and her delivery is a little bit different than most. She kind of steps across her body, and you're expecting it to come inside. So you have that deception with her body position, and then she just pulls the string. So if it's looking like your hard stuff and you're able to tunnel that off speed, you cannot recognize it in time, and that's why you're seeing the Clemson Tigers not even able to foul off that pitch.
Brockenbrough takes strike one, came over from Tennessee before this season, was there for 2 years, and she's the everyday center fielder that replaced Mackenzie Clark. And it really worked out perfectly in a lot of ways, because her former high school teammate was Brooke McCubbin. And John Rittman decided to listen to Brooke, and when she entered the portal, Brooke was the voice in her ear that said, hey, we've got center field open. That spot needs to be filled. It's got your name written all over it. You'd fit in great here. And she was right.
And the tricky part about the transfer portal, you've got to find somebody that fits the culture of the program. You just can't just bring in everybody that's had a great career. You see Brooke and Jamison there, grew up together, best friends. Brooke knew her so well and knew that she would fit into this roster in a great way, and she has.
1-2 slow roller, got by Boyd, and no chance. That was the only way that Northwestern was going to retire the speedy Brockenbrough. Once it got under her glove, they had no shot.
And we saw it yesterday. Lauren Boyd is an athlete in the circle. She can field her position well. They're laying out, trying to get to the ball. Brockenbrough just places this perfectly with just enough touch to get it past Lauren Boyd. You have got to be perfect with it, and Jamison Brockenbrough does that, and she's been so instrumental at turning this lineup over in the 9-hole.
Boyd will deal to Alex Brown now, who flew out to center field to start off the game. That misses just a little bit. So 10 hitters have come up to the plate now against Boyd, and she has started off the first pitch strike 6 of those times. Just not getting the corners, and I think that both Boyd and Basinger, as you mentioned, Brittany, were really looking for that, and now they're kind of having to adapt. When you're not getting that pitch, you know, it can be a little difficult when you're not overpowering. You got to hit your spots.
Right, they are definitely location pitchers that they can paint corners, and I think by the 3rd inning, this strike zone has been established by Marty Abazishan behind the plate, and he's been consistent with it. But both teams are such great hitters that you can't bring that ball over more, so we've seen them go to the change-ups and trying to switch speeds and keep hitters off balance. But you know, you lose your best pitch because of, you know, the umpire behind the plate. You've got to be able to adjust.
Michelle Gascoigne, one of the secret weapons, according to head coach Kate Drohan for Northwestern, the pitching coach in her 10th season now in Evanston. She knows the postseason. was just so good for Oklahoma. 2010 to 2013, won a national championship her freshman year, pairing up with Keilani Ricketts in the circle. And then she had a great pro career. So it's like, what hasn't she accomplished? And she has now molded the next generation of arms. Most recently, Danielle Williams before Lauren Boyd.
Yeah, and she's a terrific pitch caller, but she understands pitching. She just wasn't a pitcher that just went out there and had immediate success because they were just that good. She had to work hard at her craft to become the elite pitcher that she was. So taking her experiences makes her a great teacher for these pitchers, and just look at the resume and the pitchers that she's produced is, she is one of the best in the business.
3 balls and a strike now on Brown. And I think also with Gascoigne, when you have the best ERA in the country and you're going side by side with Keilani Ricketts, you got to figure out how to do that with the type of stuff that Ricketts had.
Right. I mean, what a 1-2 punch between those two.
The payoff is off the end of the bat. Timed her up out towards center. Lindsay's got it. So just that little infield single by Alex.
And make some stuff happen. Obviously, we can't chase the changeup out of the zone. So usually the longer you see that, the better off you adjust as the game progresses here.
Coach, you mentioned the zone. It seems like it's a little tight for both sides. What does Reese need to do to really adjust to this tight strike zone?
Yeah, I mean, Marty's a great umpire. I mean, we just got to hit spots, and if we do that, we'll be okay.
John, thank you so much for the time as always.
All right, thank you.
Maurice Basinger, a much better start, though, than yesterday, where she gave up those 2 runs in 2 1/3. She's already through 2 innings, scoreless ball, and she's yet to give up a hit through the first 8 batters. Just a couple of hit-by pitches. Alex Perlman joined all weekend with All-ACC catcher at North Carolina, Brittany McKinney. So glad to be with you. And what a treat it has been for this regionals here at McWhorter Stadium. You really can't get a better environment, better atmosphere, better group of softball supporters just in the 6th year of the program. It seems like they've been around for 50. Quickly 2-0 on Bridget Donahue, the number 9 hitter in the lineup for the Wildcats as they turn the order back over to Grace Nito in the on-deck circle.
And both offenses yesterday in their games took a little while to really get rolling. About second time through the lineup, we saw some better contact being made. So now Nito coming up, second time through. This is one of the most interesting parts of the game for me, is to see what they do differently. After not having a hit one time through, what do they do different in the box to get to Basinger?
What have you seen so far from her?
She's hitting her spots like John Rittman said, and then when she wasn't getting the corners called, she went to her off speed. She's still able to get the ball in on her hands, but second time through, as the hitters adjust, pitchers have to combat those adjustments as well.
Nito 0 for 1, bounced out to third her first time up. Now 1 for 5 on the weekend. Down to the count now, 0-2. Big gap out in right center.
Yeah, I mean, if she's able to pull a ball to that gap with the speed of Nito, she's going to be running for a long time. But you've seen the first 2 pitches from Basinger on that outside part of the plate. So you're going to pitch into your shift, and you're not going to put a big shift on and have a large gap if you don't trust your pitcher to hit their spots.
But doesn't that also give some insight to the hitter, and you can lean out over the strike zone a little bit more?
You can, but then you're going to hit into their shift. I mean, if you can hit your spots, you can, even if the hitter knows what's coming, location, location, location is everything.
0-2 just upstairs, so it's not just real estate then.
No.
The ball and 2 strikes on Nito. On an 8-game hit streak after yesterday. She'll keep the at-bat alive. And this has been her calling card all season long, the ability to extend at-bats.
Yeah, we saw it in her first at-bat. We saw it multiple times yesterday. Two straight counts. She does a great job of fouling pitches off. Really a difficult out.
And now she bounces over towards short, and there's Collins. Like clockwork so far for Reese Basinger in the circle. We'll get Kate Drohan's take on everything that she has seen. The 6-time Big Ten Coach of the Year, 809 wins. Most ever at Northwestern, passing her predecessor, Sharon Drysdale. Got the job in 2002 after she was an assistant coach there for a few years. Kate and her sister Carol, her identical twin sister Carol, playing at Providence. They have been the engine for this team, getting them to 3 Women's College World Series under their tenure. (2006, 2007, and 2022), along with 7 super regional appearances. 1-1's on the fist once again. Popped up left side of the infield, and Collins squeezes it for the 3rd and final out of the 3rd. Nothing across for either team at this. Joined by Northwestern head coach Kate Drohan as we go to the top of the 4th. Well, so far, Lauren Boyd seems to be great. She hasn't pitched in back-to-back days since March 15th, 16th, though. How do you think she's doing in this situation?
You know, she felt really good this morning. She had a great warm-up. I think she's pitching really tough.
Coach, yesterday it took a couple times through the lineup to get your offense some runs on the board. You're going to have the second time through next inning. What do you want to see from your hitters?
I'd like to see us to be a little bit more aggressive and also not expand as much. You know, I think our team can really understand how to do that. But they're both pitching tough. It's a good game.
Yeah, it really is. Coach, thanks so much for the time. Always appreciate it.
Thanks. Go Cats.
Well, as long as Lauren Boyd is in the circle, and Northwestern has to feel really good about their chances. A team that has just surged when she's pitched there. 18-5 in games that she's pitched in. Otherwise, they're 12-13-1. So a losing record when she's not pitching in a game. And Boyd has really been that X factor this season, and we're seeing why. So far, 3 strikeouts through 3 innings against this vaunted Clemson offense. 2-3-4, though, coming up here for the Tigers, and it starts with Maddie Moore. She grounded out to the first baseman, Robinson, in the 1st inning.
And you see number 22 at the bottom of the screen. That's Grace Nito. That's a second baseman. The shift back on for Maddie Moore, playing on the shortstop side of second base. The analytics tell you that more often than not is going to hit the ball to the left side up the middle. You can see it there. 3 defenders on the left side of second base. First baseman Kansas Robinson pulled over quite a bit off the bag. A lot of room on the right side, but that left side is full of defenders.
1-1 golfed out to left center field. Kania on her horse, and she'll range over to make the catch. Lauren Boyd so far limiting Clemson to just 1 infield single off the bat of Jamison Brockenbrough.
It's probably the most solid contact we've seen from Clemson, but we know how good of a defender Kania is out there with her glove and her arm. Ranging into the gap, some communication with the center fielder, Lindsay. Keep Maddie Moore off, and that leadoff spot's a big deal.
Julia Noller offers at the first pitch into the screen. Noller a fly out to center field her first time up. Looking for her first base hit of the Clemson Regional. She'll pull it foul. Got in front of that off speed. Noller hitting 40 points higher this season than last year. Second on the team behind Maddie Moore, 14 homers, 57 runs driven in. I mean, what a sophomore season she has had. And her 17 doubles is a new Clemson single season record.
That's why it's so important to get that first out with Maddie Moore. You want to face Julia Noller with nobody on base.
More Noller and Cintron, and then can even extrapolate it out to Abby Vieira in the number 5 hole. So difficult for pitchers to navigate all in a row. Won't get the call in the outside corner there from Marty Abizishan.
Yeah, just missing, going back to that screwball. We've seen some change-ups. He's in on the hands. Good discipline by Julia Noller. We talk about the pitchers having to recognize the strike zone. Hitters do as well.
Got her on a 2-2. That changeup in the dirt has been just absolutely lethal today.
All 4 of her strikeouts this game have been on the changeup. Clemson hitters, great hitters, but they are not recognizing this pitch at all out of the hand of Lauren Boyd.
And I guess what makes it so dangerous is that it's really not even in the dirt. It's just above it, so it looks so much like a strike and then just jumps right off the table. Maybe Macy Cintron can get the first hard hit for Clemson, the first one to leave the infield, that is. Cintron struck out swinging her first time up, though, against Boyd. Quickly down in the count, 0-2 for the ACC Freshman of the Year from Cumming, Georgia, just a 2-hour drive. One of the biggest reasons she came here to Clemson instead of where she was originally committed to Duke was that it is so much closer and her family can see her play whenever they want. Now, as a hitter with this smaller strike zone, I would think, Brittany, that gives you a little bit of added confidence knowing you can take some close pitches here.
It does until you see the changeup.
And then you got to go for it. On the inside corner, strike 3. This time of year, mayhem has already more than begun. Yesterday, we saw one national seed go down. Southeastern Louisiana, the giant killer, to take down LSU and now send them through the losers bracket.
Yeah, Southeastern Louisiana is a great program. They've had a couple heartbreaks against Power 4 teams and walk-offs, but they showed the nation why they're in that regional, and they're going to be tough for anybody. They're the team that knocked Clemson out last year, if you remember, down in Tuscaloosa, ended their season.
Yes, they did. I don't think LSU was really excited to see the Lions on their schedule. They lead the country in stolen bases. They just make it happen. I mean, unfortunately, right now, if you're a Southeastern Louisiana fan, down 10-1 to Jordy Ball in Nebraska in the top of the 4th inning. So it's looking like we might potentially have a rematch a little bit later on. 1-1, a little bit up. Yeah, Jordy Ball is in the circle there. She's only given up a hit.
If you're looking for great pitching in a region, that's a place to go. And this game today has been dominated by the arms in the circle.
Down the left field line, that's easy for Johnson. And Kelsey Nader flies out to left. And, you know, looking ahead, too, if Nebraska is able to get out of that regional against LSU, if they end up matching up with them at all, that might not even happen at this point. It's kind of fun to look at a potential Carlin Pickens and Jordy Ball matchup in the circle for the Super Regionals.
Yeah, that would be fantastic. I tell you what, there are so many great pitchers in the postseason that you're going to get great matchups no matter who comes through, and it's just the testament to the growth of the sport and these athletes, and they're so good.
And Basinger has to be careful with Kansas Robinson here, was an All-American a year ago. Struck her out swinging first time up. Waited on the changeup and punched it out to left center field. That is what Northwestern needed to do right there. Maybe that's the MO to get to Basinger. NCAA Regionals coverage for all 16 sites continues tomorrow on ESPN Plus and the ESPN app, all the way to the Women's College World Series. And for more information, you can visit NCAA.com, the home for all 90 NCAA championships. Well, there's your adjustment right there by Kansas Robinson.
And Northwestern, not a team that's going to rely on the long ball to get things done. They need to get base hits. Robinson with their first hit of the game. They've had a couple base runners, but their style of plays, get runners on, move them to the next 60 feet, be aggressive on the bases, put pressure on the defense, and to have a runner on less than 2 outs really opens the doors and the ability to do so much if you're Coach Drohan.
Even up at a ball and a strike against Kania. She was the second strikeout victim against Basinger. So we're down to the count, a ball and 2 strikes.
Let's see the first hit for Northwestern. Robinson staying down and through the changeup, recognizing both pitchers, Basinger included, going to that pitch, went ahead in the count, stayed balanced through it.
1-2 into the right center field gap. It's going to get down. Robinson around second. Cruz is into third. The first 2 hits of the game against Basinger for Northwestern come in back-to-back fashion.
And if you're Reese Basinger, you want that pitch back because another 2-strike hit, back-to-back hits for Northwestern. This pitch just gets way too much of the plate. And Kania is able to drive it into the gap. Nice job by Pipkins to cut that ball off and prevent Robinson from scoring from third. But any trouble that Basinger gets into, they always have the ace out of the bullpen to come in relief.
So Basinger is going to be pulled here after 3 1/3. She's responsible for Robinson on third and Kania on first.
She is a stabilizer on this pitching staff. Anytime there's any trouble, and Basinger only gave up the 2 hits, but with runners on the corners, they're going to the veteran that's been here all 4 years, worked her way into a very prominent spot on this staff.
Emaray pops it up. Oh, did Clemson need this? Vieira's got it for out number 2. No advance for anyone.
And we've seen it all season. When Brooke McCubbin comes in, she's not coming into a pretty situation most of the time. Most of the time she's coming in when they need some shutdown innings to get back into the dugout to limit the damage. And it's a nice, easy fly ball for Vieira behind the plate. Now your defense can back up with the 2 outs and a runner on third, keep their range.
Lauren Saborski swings away, gets past Vieira, but a foul tip.
I did not hear the foul tip up here, so I was like, what
either.
is Vieira very casually going after the ball? But clearly, we'll see here on the replay that she did get a piece of it.
And it got a piece of Vieira, too, on the shin guard.
Yeah, the story of this game is pitching so far. Just the combined 3 hits from the 2 teams. And, you know, you don't get to this point in the postseason without good pitching. We talk about how the offense has really exploded in the sport with the home runs and the batting averages and the strength of the offense. But when it comes postseason and you're playing to go to OKC, you've got to have an ace in the circle. And both of these teams have pitchers, shutdown pitchers, and we're seeing that today.
Abby Vieira utilizing a good eye there, and now is the count in her favor, 3-0. Vieira, Collins, and Pipkins all due up. It's 5, 6, and 7 in John Rittman's order. Trying to break the deadlock.
And if I'm Abby Vieira in this count against Lauren Boyd, who does not fall behind very often, I am sitting, I am aggressive, I am ready for this next pitch, because we know the control she has, that she can bring it over the plate when she needs to.
This is in the hole. Tough play. Avesado knocks it down. That's all she can do. So Vieira is on the first leadoff to reach for Clemson, but still just 2 infield singles against Boyd.
Yeah, this was going to be a very difficult play for Avesado in the hole, but we saw it yesterday when she goes to plant that back foot, slipping on the grass. I think Vieira would reach there safely regardless, but now Clemson with a leadoff runner on. We saw Northwestern get a runner on with less than 2 outs. This is when your offense can start executing situational plays, moving runners over.
Marion Collins bunts it foul. Well, as it stands, actually, it is going to go down as an E6. Fielding error on Avesado. Not entirely sure that we agree with that one, but we're not the official scores.
I never get it right.
I'm with you, though. I don't think there's any way that they got Vieira there if she picks it up cleanly. So a tough error in a lot of ways there, but that's what it goes down as that's looped the other way, and base hit for Collins. Here comes Clemson. First and second, nobody out here in the 5th against Boyd.
Yeah, the crowd's coming alive now. Back-to-back base runners getting on for Clemson. Marion Collins tried to get the sacrifice bunt down in that first pitch of the at-bat. John Rittman says, you know what, Marion, I've seen what you've been able to do with your bat all season long. Let's let you swing it. And if you're a pitcher, they show first pitch, they're going to sack. You're going to pitch to the bunt, get something up in the zone. Collins sitting on that and able to drive it to the opposite side of the field.
Riley Grudzielanek starting to get going on the left side of your screen there. Double barrel action in the bullpen for Northwestern.
Yeah, we saw a short leash with Reese Basinger bringing in Brooke McCubbin, because they've been doing that all season. I don't think there'll be as short of a leash with Lauren Boyd in the circle. No, she goes complete games when she's dealing, and running to first bit of trouble here.
Kennedy Ariel is going to come in and pinch run for Vieira at second base as the go-ahead run here in the top of the 5th inning. So an E6 for Vieira to reach. She advances to second on the Marion Collins single. And now that's her 4th hit of the regionals. Taylor Pipkins, the ACC Tournament MVP, takes outside. Carolina looking for our first run of the 1-0 game. It's either Clemson or Northwestern that's going to advance to the regional final. As Kate Drohan watches on, the longtime head coach for Northwestern in her 24th season in Evanston. Wildcats trying to turn some defensive momentum into offensive after turning the triple play just an inning ago in the 5th to get them out of first and second, and nobody gone.
The crowd was in it. They knew if you're Clemson, you're about to score, and then an absolute gut punch by the defense to get out of the inning. I mean, we've seen great plays by Northwestern yesterday, and making a play, and that momentum from defense carrying into the dugout, and then they went on to score 2 runs, looking to take that defensive momentum to the plate this inning and respond immediately.
Look, I mean, you don't see a lot of triple plays in softball, and you really do not get to witness them in the postseason.
No, you don't. But I started that play for obvious reasons, but that can be a turning point. You can always look back in close games. What was the turning point? What was the big factor, the big play? And not always so obvious. That one definitely is. But Brooke McCoven is a different animal in the circle that you're going to have to deal with. Getting the strikeout right there, that's huge. After your team gets hit in the gut, what do? You come back out with a changeup to get a strikeout to try and stifle that momentum that Northwestern just gained.
Well, since coming in with first and third and one away last inning, she has retired all 3 batters that she has faced. Bridget Donahue with 1 out, nobody on. Scoreless in the 5th. I mean, with the type of pitching that we have seen in this game,